Good morning, everyone. It's another week of our online sessions. Today, we're going to start with a global English book. So, please bring your books and let's start in order to save our time. Today's lesson is going to be about Unit 11, entitled Personality Types. In this lesson, we're going to know many vocabulary. Most of the unit is vocabulary. Even the grammatical part are referring to some vocabulary that we will learn. So, let's prepare ourselves and start. First thing that we're going to deal with is vocabulary, synonyms and antonyms. Then we're going to move on with use of English, two of them. First one is about adjectives followed by preposition, and the other one is going to be prepositions followed by nouns. And finally, we're going to remember abstract nouns. To start with our first point, it is significant to remember that we have two important ideas to remember. First one is synonyms. What's the meaning of a synonym? A synonym is a word that has the same meaning as another word. Let's take the word angry, for example. What can give the same meaning of angry? It's of course mad. The same can be on the other three examples: glad, happy, sad, gloomy, scared, and afraid. They all give the same meaning. However, I want you to remember that sometimes it's not exactly the same meaning. Sometimes there is a slightly different between the two. If we say, for example, cold and freezing, they both mean that it's cold. However, one of them is more powerful than the other. As long as they give the same meaning, then it's a synonym. Moving on to antonyms. What's an antonym? It's a word that has the opposite meaning of the other word. To take the word hot, well, cold is obviously the opposite of this one. So, antonyms are simply opposites: big, little, up, down. However, we cannot proceed our lesson without understanding and remembering what's the meaning of adjectives. So, what is an adjective? An adjective is a word that describes a noun or pronoun such as person, place, thing, or idea. Here we have adjectives that can tell what? They can tell color, like black, blue, all these examples. They can describe size, like big, huge, small. They can describe shape, like boxy, oval, round, or even taste: bitter, sweet, all these examples again. They can even explain odor, texture, sound, number, and weather, in addition to many other things that are not mentioned. For example, feelings. You can always express your feelings in adjectives. In page 88, our book provides us with many examples of the adjectives that we discussed earlier. To start, for example, with the word adventurous. It describes people who always try to do adventures or to try new things. For the word calm, for example, it refers to someone or describes someone that is always quiet. You can find the meanings of these words that will be great to learn. All of them are great to be known. So I would like you to do one thing: to stop the video right now and try to find antonyms. Again, what are antonyms? Opposites. So try to find some opposites in these words. If you do not know the meanings of some of them, you can always use your dictionary. Here we're going to give some answers for the exercise that you attempted a while ago. So remember that these five are not the only antonyms that you have here. They're just examples given to you. So to start with the first one, patient. How to find the antonym for this word is simply by adding a prefix to the beginning of the word. And you remember what's the meaning of prefixes? The morphemes that we put in the beginning of a word to make some change. Then we go to the word calm. By the way, calm and easygoing are the same meaning. So what does that mean? They are what? Yes, they are synonyms. So calm and easygoing are the antonym of quick-tempered. Then we have the word optimistic. An optimistic person is somebody who sees the positive sides in everything, while pessimistic is somebody who can see only the negative sides. Then we have the word shy, which meaning is very known, to the word sociable. Sociable is a person who is not afraid of talking to new people to get to know other people. The opposite of shy, always want to be by himself. Then we have the final word, adventurous. As we said, somebody who likes adventures to try new things. It is the opposite of cautious. Cautious people do not like to go on adventures, do not like to try new things. Now we would explain the use of English found in page 88. Adjectives followed by prepositions. To explain this, it's easy to say there are expressions that have adjectives and prepositions after them. There is a good way to know these expressions. How? By simply knowing the phrase as a whole to memorize it. So, the first example is going to be I'm good at practical things, not I'm good in or I'm good on. It should be at. So, how should you know it? By knowing the phrase as a whole, memorizing it. Other examples can be given. I'm interested in people, not on people, not with people, in people. I'm aware of the situation. It's very important to me. I get annoyed with people. It's very important to know these phrases as they are. To check more examples, you have page 122 in your workbook. It contains lots of examples that you would be able to see. Before we start solving exercise number 3 in page 91, I would like you guys to stop the video and start reading a text in page 90. It's entitled Absolutely Amazing. It's about a very successful young man. While you read this text, I would like you to find some positive adjectives and some negative ones. Then we would try to do exercise number 3 as we know on page 91. So stop the video and start working on it, please. Alright, if you finished reading the text and you've done your tasks, then we can give the solutions for exercise number 3. To start with the first one, we have a word. It's launched. Which one do you think launched is? It's definitely F. So what's F? It's made a product available for the first time. Launched. So it can mean started something for the first time. Then we go to the word that we're very familiar with, but sometimes you would notice that it's written with Z. So in British English, it's summarized with S, while in American English, it's with Z. So what's the meaning of summarized? Of course, it's A. Describe briefly the main facts or ideas. Moving on to another word, which is proudest. When you're proud, and here you're giving the superlative est. What's the meaning of proudest? It is D. Happiest because of something you have achieved. Then we have another word, inspired. What's the meaning of inspired? It's G. Made someone feel they want to do something and can do it. You inspire other people. Then we have another word, stereotypical. What's the meaning of stereotypical? It's E, which means having the qualities that you expect a particular type of person to have. Then you have a word that is not commonly used. It's only in informal language, not informal one. So it's the word nerd. What's the meaning of nerd? It is someone, especially a boy or a man, who is not fashionable and who is interested in boring things. Moving on to the word genius. Easy one, yes? Genius is H, someone who is extremely intelligent or good at doing something. Then we have the word humanities, J, subjects that are not connected with science, such as history, geography, all of these. Then we have the word invest in. To invest in something is to give money to a business, usually in order to make a profit. Investors. The last word is going to be take risk. What's the meaning of take risk? It's B. Do something which may not be successful and may even be dangerous. These are the solutions for this exercise. Now let's move on to explain another use of English. This use of English is very similar to the other one that we explained, while this one contains a preposition and a noun after it. As we explained there, it is better to learn these expressions as a whole phrase. You memorize it. So, we have this example. I teach at school. Not on, not any other preposition. Other examples again can be given here. He is working on his project. The train arrived on time. You can check page 122 to find even more examples again. If you opened your workbook and found other examples for these prepositions, it's going to be easy to solve exercise number 6 in page 91. So to start with the first one, Nick is still at school. At the moment, he's studying Chinese and Russian. This is a brilliant app, in my opinion. Not on my opinion, not any other preposition. Number 4. Has Nick been on TV? He looks quite young in the photo. He likes being in control of what he's doing. 7. He doesn't want a job in computer programming. 8. You can read news stories on your phone. I read the story on the internet. 10. And finally, he lives at home with his parents and his younger brother. Before we start explaining our last point for today, which is abstract nouns, I would like to remind you guys that you should always practice your listening. As you have in page 92, 3 exercises for listening. You can do them individually since you have the CDs already without my assistance. So, working on your listening is very important for you. Try frequently to have some exercises for that. Now we will explain abstract nouns. And I believe that many of you have an idea about that because we talked about that in grade 7's book. What are abstract nouns? They are words which name something that you cannot see, hear, touch, smell, or taste. You can only think of it or feel it. Here you have some examples for these abstract nouns, like anger. You cannot touch anger, you can only think of it or you can feel it. Charity, evil, tolerance, hope, luck, all these words are abstract nouns. They're the opposite for concrete nouns. Like what? Concrete nouns like wall. A wall is a concrete noun. A table is a concrete noun. You can touch it. So, this is a very important thing to remember. The last point that I have to remind you guys, you remember that we do not put articles before these abstract nouns. We do not say the anger. Okay, so we use it without the or a. only in one case if we're specifying this abstract noun. For example, the opportunity that I got was good. Why did I say the opportunity, although it's an abstract noun? Because I'm specifying this one. That was all for our lesson today. I hope that you understood everything. And if you didn't, please put your questions in the comments section. I will always answer these questions. Thank you so much.